Okay, it's August 11th now. I just set up my hammock a few minutes ago, and I laid down in the hammock, and as I sunk down, below the tree there was a mostly nude man, a man in his underwear, probably 60 years old, who was obviously coming to check out my garden. But when he saw me swinging a little bit, he turned abruptly around, disappeared around the fallen tree, and back up over into the path out. So obviously he's one of those who knows things are here and knows that I have pumpkins, and probably is one of those pumpkin thieves from the past. And let me show you what he was coming to see. So these have grown out tremendously since last Friday. Today is Sunday. So here we have the last stick I put down on this vine. It's grown 4.5, 5 feet. Same with the next one. And so on. This one's about 4 feet. This one has gone about 6 feet. See that stick there? It's gone all the way into the brush. I'm going to end up having to cut that one off, I think, at the end. Maybe I'll let it go a few more feet. Anyway, same thing here. That pumpkin was not there last time. And there's a stick where I put at the end. That's about 5 feet long there. Similarly, from there, these ones have crossed. There's a hornet after me right now. Or a wasp, sorry. Wasp, leave me alone. Anyway, you can see the stick down there and the pumpkin. And these vines have crossed going towards the sun. I might try to sort some of that out. And if you remember the pumpkin I put on the board, how small it was last week, that's a serious sized pumpkin right now. Look at that. So that's a week and 2 days of growing. And as I said, this is August 11th, so we've got some time. You can see where the bugs and slugs had pecked at it when it was little, but it looks like it's grown a pretty hard skin and it's going to grow through that. Anyway, looks pretty good. This pumpkin was not that big last time. I don't even think I noticed it. I wonder where the pumpkin on the board is. Anyway, I spread that grass seed and it rained a lot, and you can see lots of grass is growing up. So, good thing I got that seed down when I did. I don't know if it's possible to get in there anymore. Oh yeah, I can see it's pretty big now. So, not getting too much closer. There's the pumpkin on the board. And I'll go on the inside now, check the inside out. Okay, let's look up there. There's one pumpkin that might set from the tree in there that I can see. Could be more, of course. Another wasp flying around me aggressively. They don't usually do that. Here's a... Sorry, that's why I'm at a wasp. Here's another pumpkin. Anyway, that vine and the other vine, well actually several vines have climbed up into this tree, which is my plan. I have to train this one to go up. It's hanging over. This pumpkin just sitting here is quite large, which is nice. Anyway, with that guy coming around, and anybody else he's told, and his buddies, and all the other freakers that decide to come down here naked, he and his buddies are going to steal a bunch of pumpkins from me, I know it. And I just have to be here to scare them off. So I have to be here at different times. I can't always be here at the same time. quite a lot of my grass is growing, which makes me happy. You can see the birds and the rain have really knocked a lot of dirt off the top, but I can see grass poking up in a few places here. Not so much on the back inside, but on the top back here. Looks pretty good. So the grass is growing. And from the back side, I only saw a couple comfrey. So here's some of the comfrey I planted. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. I think those are mostly crowns. I don't see any growing from the top, but that doesn't mean it's not there, because it could be small. And I don't see any of the comfrey I planted around this bush or in between them either right now. Okay, there's one. There's one comfrey there in the center. So some of the comfrey I transplanted is growing, which more than quadruples the plants that I dug up. And plus those roots that I dug up will sprout back. So you can see some grass growing on the outside here, so that's good. It'll help hold the soil together. That's the whole plan. Gonna string up some vines. Gonna make a bunch of noise and let people know I'm here. One other item of interest. Oh, there's a comfrey. So I'm sure if I looked through this mess up top, I would see comfrey someplace, but I'm not going to hunt for it too much. Anyway, as I was saying, one other thing of interest, if I didn't step on it already, I saw a hazelnut shell. There we go. Look at that. Hazelnut shell. A hazelnut shell. Two of them. So I did, in fact, produce hazelnuts off of this bush this year. And I didn't see them. I don't see any more, but this shows me a squirrel has found them and ate them. So even if I do produce hazelnuts, I'll have squirrels eating them before I can get to them down here. So maybe it's a waste, maybe not. Okay, I do see a comfrey came up and the slugs chewed it off. So there is comfrey growing that I planted. That's a good sign. The thing that makes me the most angry is this half-dressed man came down here. And I know he's checking out my pumpkins just to see what he can steal. And he will, because he probably lives in his little house over here in a garden. And he's too lazy to grow his own food. So I might make it difficult for him to get in. We'll see. Okay, so because this big pumpkin will be the primary target for whoever comes down here, I'm going to trim the end of this vine and cut off the tiny little pumpkin at the end that wants to grow. I think there's another one in here that is growing. Maybe it will survive, maybe it won't. I'll leave it alone. But this last one, sorry guy, taking him off, and see this end, I'm going to lop it right here, so that it doesn't grow any further. And this way, hopefully it puts all that energy into that pumpkin. If the second pumpkin makes it, fine, I don't care. But I want this pumpkin to get big so that nobody can carry it out here. very far. Maybe in a week it'll double in size again. I've lifted the vine below it because it was rooted into the ground, and I broke the root off so it can expand. And I pulled up here. I'll show you. I'll pull up here, and I think I'll pull up here too, because it's another place where these roots have grown into the ground. So I don't even think I have to do what I did with putting little mounds of dirt on parts of it, because all of these little junctions just grow right into the ground anyway. So hopefully Mr. Pumpkin Thief will leave this one alone, but I imagine he'll be back in a couple of days when I'm not here, and he'll nab it. So if this one doesn't survive, there's a second pumpkin to grow perhaps, and maybe the one I couldn't locate down in the swale is still there. I don't know. I'm not going to go fishing around in there. So I'll take this home and maybe eat it. What else have I done? Haven't done much today. Just enjoyed my time down here. I trained a few of those vines on top, and I've got about 6 visible pumpkins up there. Maybe not all from this side, but 6 visible pumpkins growing on the lattice. It's doing its job. This vine I detangled. It was overlapping another one, and I pulled it out here. Maybe it'll right itself or not. If not, no big deal. There's enough pumpkin vines as it is. You can see, I think it's not just slugs that are eating my pumpkins at a young stage. I think it's also pheasants pecking them, which I don't blame them, because pumpkins are good. So might have to put this one on a board. There's another little one over here I might have to put on a board. But anyway, as I said, with the Pumpkin Thief coming down, I think a lot of my visible pumpkins will just disappear over time. But I can't worry about it, because I can't be down here all the time. If they steal my pumpkins, I hope they eat them and enjoy them, but I really don't want them to. Okay, so I'm not marking these ones going up to the stinging nettles here. I'm going to let them climb as far as they want. Maybe they'll go up over this log and produce some pumpkins up there, who knows. Again, there's my old stick there, but I've placed new sticks that you can see all the way along, those that I have not cut the end off of. I've only cut the end off of the one with the big pumpkin, and the one that was crossing my trail or path into the center over there. Everything else I'm going to leave as it is and just let it grow. I cut off a lot of tertiary vines today, probably 15 or 20 from this middle bunch here, and the stuff over here I'm pretty much letting go wild, and we'll just see what happens. But this is where I made my main attempt to clean things up. I get some more sunlight, so perhaps that's the best place to put my energy.